Life, culture and current events from a biblical perspective. 2020 with Neil Johnson on Vision.
Let's take a few moments to appreciate some of the huge opportunities that are presenting themselves with taking the gospel to our near neighbours, whether it's the South Pacific or our neighbours to the north at Papua New Guinea. The organisation Youth with a Mission, or YWAM, they operate in centres all around the world, something like 180 nations. Their heartbeat is for young people to make a real difference in their world. They have just recently launched a fabulous initiative where they have a new base in the township of Madang in Papua New Guinea, where they have a new YWAM ships base. But there are all sorts of other opportunities that are opening up, especially for reaching out to our neighbours to the north, Papua New Guinea. Nick Papamichael is an ambassador for YWAM ships and back with us. Hello, Nick. Welcome back to 2020.
Hello, Neil.
Nick, we were talking last time around the initiative where there's a new base in Madang. There's one already existent in Port Moresby, and there's all sorts of opportunities opening up. Someone's come up with a brilliant idea about getting ships active in this region. Give us some insights into how your initiative is working.
Oh, Neil, yes. This initiative was first established by our team leader, Brett Curtis. So he's the director of YWAM ships in Kona, Hawaii. And his pipe dream was to create a flotilla of small sailing ships that will sail to the most remote regions of the earth, bringing the message of hope through the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ, and also medical aid and practical assistance. Now, when we first started this dream, this vision, we only had one or two sailing ships to our under our care. At the moment, it's been over a year, and now we've got over 150 ships that people have come and generously given their time for us to use these ships. So people who own a sailing ship and want to do something special with it, they can let us borrow the ship. Mind you, we won't be sailing it, so they will need to provide us a captain or captain it themselves, and we will put the team on the ship, which will be able to reach those islands which are in need.
Let's just pause and reflect here for a few moments in case listeners have missed the significance of what you've just shared. You've got something in the vicinity of 150 ocean-going ships that have been volunteered for the use of YWAM to be able to extend the mission work that you do. I'm imagining right now, Nick, that you need a whole lot of crew and workers for the mission. Even if you've got the owners of those ships who are doing the captaining and using their spare time to do this mission, you need a whole lot of extra workers to make things work.
Yeah, correct. Because a lot of these sailing ships will house 6 to 8 souls. So we can only get 6 to 8 people living on those ships. And what we're envisioning is we put 1 to 2 or 3 medics on board, and then some general hands or general volunteers. And then we sail into a region. Now, once we sail into these remote islands, we don't go blindfold. We've done a lot of R&D. We know what the island's needing. We've already spoken to the island's elders or the presiding government officials. And so we know what our requirements are. And so we go in already preempted. And then we go in and do what we do best.
You've got some other opportunities that go hand in hand with this one that you're going to be taking these ships to ports all around the 5,000 kilometres of coastline of Papua New Guinea. And that is one that you've opened a conversation, even with UCB, about how we extend a broadcasting opportunity into Papua New Guinea. And those sorts of conversations are still happening?
Oh, yes. Yes, they are. So this conversation started with UCB, and it was to help fulfill the vision that our founder, Lauren Cunningham, who is still alive in Kona, and the vision is to end Bible poverty by bringing the gospel to the most remote regions, to share the gospel with people who haven't heard the gospel yet. And that's to fulfill the Great Commission. So the idea was to get the gospel message put it on a transmitter, an AM transmitter, and then place those transmitters in very remote regions of the globe on islands who don't get visitors frequently. And then these radios will be able to present this message to those listening.
So personnel on these ships that are being volunteered by their owners, and I imagine you've got owners who might use their yacht for maybe 10 months of the year, but they've got 2 months downtime or however that's going to work. You've got the opportunity to use these yachts and you're looking for the volunteers to be a part of it. Are there specific skills that you need, Nick?
Some skills, yes, apart from the sailing skills, but generally no, because YWAM can also offer training if they need to. But yes, there is basic skills needed, but I guess what we're really looking at is for those who have a heart and a passion to fulfill this calling.
Now, what we're talking about here is not dozens, maybe hundreds, but potentially thousands of opportunities for volunteers. And so for people looking for a way to be able to extend their opportunity to share the gospel and be involved in some missions work, this is an ideal opportunity.
Oh, yes. If you've got a sense of adventure and a passion and you want to reach the lost or change people's lives, this will do it for you. Now, those who are interested in what we're doing and interested in some of these stories, so to speak, we run a group page on Facebook. It's called YWAM Gospel and Medical Outreaches. And on that group page, we're posting stories on what all our ships are currently doing. So it's life-changing. It can motivate those who are wanting to get involved.
And not only do you have your opportunity on the ships, but there's also ground opportunities in Papua New Guinea as well.
Yes. Well, as you've mentioned, we've started a new base in Madang, and we're going to need a lot of volunteers to help to get this base operational. At the moment, we've just signed a 50-year lease, and the main infrastructure is a big warehouse-style facility. But with that facility, we've got to prepare it. We've got to get it going. We've got to build rooms. So we need a whole stack of trades who are willing to get involved for short periods or long periods of time that will be willing to go there and lend us a hand.
And you're welcome on the shores of Papua New Guinea too, because with the whole new YWAM ships base in Madang, that was really at the invitation of the Papua New Guinea Prime Minister. So the Papua New Guineans want you there.
Yeah, very much so. And one other initiative that I'm personally running for 2023 is we're looking at developing small micro teams, teams of 2 to 3 people, and I will be personally taking them over for this experience, because for some people, packing their bags and putting a backpack on and travelling to remote areas of Papua New Guinea might be a bit daunting. But we've been thinking about how do we make this easier and to chaperone them, and they can come on board with us, and we will personally escort them from Australia all the way to our base and then onto the ships if they wish.
Well, it's inspiring hearing these insights, Nick Papamichael, and let me point listeners to how they can connect with you and with YWAM Ships. There is a website, and YWAM, spelt YWAM, shipskona.org is the website. Just explain for us here, Nick, the Kona part is connected with your Hawaiian outreach for YWAM. So there's a bit of partnership going on between Australia and Hawaii.
Yes, very much so. So Townsville is a base which runs our other vessel called the YWAM PNG. A lot of Australians know that. Some of them have been on that, and it's very well, has been working wonderfully in the last 5 to 7 years. But then our main headquarters, so to speak, is in Kona, Hawaii. That's our main base. That is where our founders, Lauren Cunningham and his wife Darlene, live, and they're still there. That base houses over 1,000 people, and we get people from all around the world coming on board, doing their DTS, spending time with YWAM, and also getting involved with YWAM ships or the YWAM flotilla, and then branching out into the world.
It is an amazing organisation, and with the incredible capacity to mobilise thousands of young people in what you might even call an adventure when you're going on mission, serving God, bringing his kingdom into places where they've not heard the gospel often before. Nick Papamichael is an ambassador for YWAM Ships, ywamshipskona.org. To connect with Nick Papamichael. Nick, thanks so much for sharing your update today with us on 2020.
Thank you, Neil.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.